Dzień dobry. Happy Pulaski Day.
Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
I would like to start off by first of all saying dzień dobry to everybody.
To nie tylko zaszczyt, ale i wielka przyjemność być ponownie w tym najbardziej polskim zamerykańskim.
And we are very, very excited. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of Poland, Andrzej Duda, and the First Lady, Agata Kornhauser-Duda.
Please be seated. Good morning. Welcome to the Polish Museum of America and the headquarters of the Polish Roman Catholic Union of America for our annual Kazimierz Pulaski holiday celebration. It is indeed a great honor for the museum and for the Polish Roman Catholic Union this year to have as our guests President Andrzej Duda and First Lady Agata Kornhauser-Duda. It is very important that we as Polish Americans recognize Pulaski and continue the tradition of the holiday. We are the only state in the United States that has a holiday dedicated to Kazimierz Pulaski. It is our duty to make sure that that holiday never gets lost. For a man who gave up his life for American independence, that's something that we should not take lightly, and something that we should make sure that we always remember, not only for this generation, but for all future generations. I'd also like to welcome today two veterans who are participating in our program, Mr. Tadeusz Gubała and Pan Zapalski, who are both from the Polish Resistance Army. It's always an honor that both gentlemen appear here and take part in the activities, especially on Pulaski Day. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce our co-host for this ceremony, Mr. James Durbin, the president of the Polish Roman Catholic Union of America.
Good morning, and welcome to Pulaski Day celebration at the Polish Museum of America. I would especially like to welcome President Andrzej Duda and the First Lady Agata Kornheiser-Duda, who are attending today, as well as Senator Richard Durbin and all our other dignitaries who are with us. Kazimierz Pulaski was a Polish nobleman, as we know, a soldier and military commander who has been called the father of the American cavalry. Pulaski is remembered as a hero who fought for independence and freedom in Poland and the United States. Numerous places and events are named in his honor, and he is commemorated by many works of art. But Pulaski is one of only 8 people who was awarded an honorary United States citizenship. Thank you very much and enjoy the program.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you could please rise for the presentation of colors. Our anthems will be sung by Eva Kovich-Fair and August Fair, accompanied by Bartłomiej Książopka.
Jeszcze Polska nie zginęła, kiedy my żyjemy. Co nam obca przemoc wzięła, szablą odbierzemy. Marsz, marsz Dąbrowski, ziemi włoskiej do Polski, za Twoim przewodem złączy się z narodem. Marsz, marsz Dąbrowski, ziemi włoskiej do Polski, za Twoim przewodem złączy się z narodem. Przejdziem Wisłę, przejdziem Wartę, będziem Polakami. Dał nam przykład Bonaparte, jak zwyciężać mamy. Marsz, marsz Dąbrowski, ziemi włoskiej do Polski, za Twoim przewodem złączym się z narodem. Marsz, marsz Dąbrowski, z ziemi włoskiej do Polski, za Twoim przewodem złączym się z narodem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Please be seated. I'd also like to welcome our friends who are watching this streaming live on the internet, our friends in Europe, Poland, throughout the United States. Welcome to our celebration for 2025. To begin our program, I'd like to call upon two friends of the Polish Museum of America, two people who have been very, very supportive of all the work that we do, and welcoming the President and First Lady to the state of Illinois, Treasurer Michael Frerichs and Comptroller Susan Mendoza.
Dzień dobry. Szanowny Panie Prezydencie Duda, drodzy goście, jestem tutaj, by oddać hołd wiatorowi Polski i Stanów Zjednoczonych, Kazimierzowi Pulaskiemu, ojcu amerykańskiej kawalerii. Nazywam się Michał Frerichs i jestem skarbnikiem stanu Illinois. I jestem dumny, że moja żona to Polka. A w żyłach moje dzieci płynie polska krew. Nie mówię po polsku. For those of you who don't speak Polish, that's okay. I don't either. But I have a very good team that helped me prepare those introductory remarks. I want to thank... Thanks. I want to thank members of my team, Bogusław Kwasny, Basza Hałko, Daniel Pogaszewski, and Eric Kroll. Eric Kroll is a Polish American who doesn't speak Polish, but he helped me with some English remarks as well. You know, I want to start off by saying that we do these things because we have help. We get more done working together. And I think that Polish Americans working together make our country bigger and stronger. We see that from in many ways. Sharing of culture and foods. We have streets and cities named after Pulaski. We think back today on Kazimierz Pulaski. Now we sometimes forget that Kazimierz Pulaski got his start fighting Russians. Because Russia for a long time has coveted Poland. They have changed the borders, they have disappeared it from the map, they have attempted to control it as a puppet state, but Poland is free today because Poland fought. And I want to thank you for working with others who are fighting for their freedom, like Ukraine. But as the state treasurer, I am the state's chief investment officer. So I want to say, Hodzi o kasę. I have an announcement today. I'm very proud to announce that for the first time in Illinois history, the state treasurer's office, and we believe the first time in U.S. history, has bought $15 million in Polish bonds. Yes. We bought these bonds because they earn a good return, because Poland has been a safe investment, and we also appreciate the special bond between the state of Illinois and the nation of Poland. And so I want to thank you very much for allowing me to be here today for that announcement. Illinois has ties to Poland through trade, through culture. We have cities and streets named after Pulaski and sister city programs as well. I want to end by giving a quote from Pulaski in a letter to Congress. I came to hazard all for the freedom of America, and he did. Let us honor him today. Thank you. Dziękuję.
Thank you very much, Treasurer Frericks. And as you can see, the organizers of the event picked the tallest person in the room and the shortest one to give welcoming remarks today. But it is truly my pleasure to welcome you, President Duda and the First Lady, all of you who are gathered here today at the Polish Museum of Americas to honor the amazing, the one and only General Pulaski. My name is Susana Mendoza, and I am the state controller, which means that I'm the state's chief financial and accountability officer. I think you know how welcome you truly are, President and First Lady, to our beautiful city here in Chicago amongst so many people from Polonia. Known as the father of American cavalry, General Pulaski possessed incredible military skills and leadership qualities that earned the respect of his troops. Pulaski gave his life, as we all know, fighting for American independence at the Siege of Savannah in 1779. To this day, his legacy is celebrated by Polish Americans throughout the United States. Casimir Pulaski Day holds special significance in the state of Illinois. Chicagoland boasts a proud Polish population surpassing any metropolitan area outside of Poland. While I may not be Polish myself, I take pride in the accomplishments of my Polish husband and his 8 siblings and their great parents, my in-laws. And I want you to know that I am raising a 12-year-old little half-Polish boy to be very proud of every ounce of his Polish DNA. We can all see firsthand the contributions of the Polish community in Chicago and throughout the United States. The values of family, faith, hard work, and freedom. From sending us Casimir Pulaski and Tadeusz Kosciuszko to help us win our war for independence, to the laborers who built and continue to build Chicago, to the artists, writers, and scientists who have enriched our lives, we can't thank Polonia enough. Dziękuję, Polonia. Thank you, President Duda and First Lady. Witamy, you truly honor us with your presence today as we celebrate this momentous occasion. Welcome to our great state of Illinois, the majestic and beautiful city of Chicago. And I would leave you with this. Consider it your home away from home. Thank you and God bless you.
And now it's my honor to announce from the Mayor's Office of the City of Chicago, Mr. Kevin Barszcz.
Dzień dobry. I'm sorry that Mayor Brandon Johnson is unable to attend today, but he does send his warm regards. However, he did film a short video that we would love to share with all of you now. Dziękuję.
Hello, I'm Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson, and I would like to welcome President Andrzej Duda to the great city of Chicago. Chicago is the proud home to the largest Polish population outside of Poland, and Polish Americans have greatly contributed to the cultural landscape of our diverse city and country. I am proud of our long history with Poland. In fact, Warsaw, Poland was Chicago's first sister city, and today we have connections and partnerships with 28 cities around the world. President Duda, I regret that I'm not able to be present with you today, but I'm confident that the Chicagoans you will meet during your visit will share the deep connection between Poland and our beloved city. During your stay, I hope you have the chance to visit some of our world-renowned museums, attractions, and historical landmarks. And I encourage you to visit the Polish Triangle and the Polish Heritage Corridor on Milwaukee Avenue. I hope you have an enjoyable and successful trip and take in all that Chicago has to offer.
Our next speaker has been a voice of Polonia since 2005, when he became president of the Polish National Alliance and the Polish American Congress, Mr. Frank Spula.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dzień dobry, witam was wszystkich. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and friends, warmest greetings at the Museum of America as we celebrate Pulaski Day. Today we gather in the vibrant city of Chicago to honor the legacy of a hero, General Casimir Pulaski, whose courage, dedication, and commitment to liberty continue to inspire us all. As we celebrate his birthday, we are reminded of the profound impact he had on the American Revolution and the enduring friendship between Poland and the United States. General Pulaski's remarkable contributions to fight for freedom, as well as his sacrifice, resonates with all of us. Today's celebration is extraordinary because we are privileged to have the President of the Republic of Poland, Andrzej Duda, and First Lady, Mrs. Agata Kornhauser, joining us. Thank you. Mr. President, your presence today highlights the enduring bond between Poland and the United States, particularly the Polish-American community, which plays an integral part in our history. We're honored to have you both visiting the Polish Museum and celebrating with the Polish community. We welcome you. Chicago is the largest and most vibrant Polish city outside of Poland, with its dynamic organizations, prominent leaders, thousands of Polish students. The list is never ending. So as Polish Americans, we are very proud of our successes. I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the Polish Museum of America for hosting this annual event in remembering General Pulaski's historic contributions in our society. So thank you, the leaders of this museum. A note of gratitude to our fraternal brother and sister organization, the Polish Roman Catholic Union of America, for guarding our heritage and supporting this significant center, a true gem of the American Polonia. Thank you. You know, looking at history, I'm certain General Pulaski would be very proud of our Polish-American community, especially the Polish-American Congress, formed in 1944 in uniting Polish organizations and individuals to fight for freedom and democracy for Poland, the same values that General Pulaski adhered to. Today, the Polish-American Congress has focused on promoting the community, involving people in events and voting, and safeguarding our community, and the support for Ukraine as well. Thank you again, President Duda and Mrs. Kornhauser-Duda, for joining us in honoring the life and legacy of General Pulaski, and for your continued leadership in strengthening the ties between Poland and the United States. Thank you. To all of us here today, may the example of General Pulaski inspire us all as we strive for justice and peace in our communities and the world itself. God bless you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct honor to introduce the President of the Republic of Poland, Andrzej Duda.
Czcigodni weterani, wielce szanowna Pani Konsul, szanowne Panie i Panowie Ministrowie, szanowni przedstawiciele stanu Illinois, szanowni przedstawiciele władz miasta Chicago, szanowni Panie i Panowie prezesi polskich organizacji i stowarzyszeń tutaj w Stanach Zjednoczonych, w szczególności w Chicago, w stanie Illinois, ale przede wszystkim wielce szanowni gospodarze, władze Muzeum Polskiego w Stanach Zjednoczonych, szanowni przedstawiciele Polskiej Unii Rzymskich Katolików w Stanach Zjednoczonych.
Distinguished veterans, distinguished Madam Consul, distinguished ministers, esteemed representatives of the state of Illinois, esteemed representatives of the city of Chicago, ladies and gentlemen, presidents of Polish organizations and associations present here in the United States of America, especially in the city of Chicago, in the state of Illinois. First and foremost, distinguished hosts, distinguished leaders of the Polish Museum of America and representatives of the Polish Roman Catholic Union of America.
Bardzo serdecznie chcę podziękować w imieniu mojej małżonki, moim całej polskiej delegacji za zaproszenie w to wyjątkowe miejsce, w tym wyjątkowym dniu, w którym zbiega się tyle istotnych rocznic i dla Polaków w Stanach Zjednoczonych, i dla Polski, i dla Stanów Zjednoczonych.
First and foremost, I would like to express my profound gratitude on behalf of my wife, myself, and members of my delegation. Thank you so much for inviting us here to this extraordinary place on this extraordinary day on which so many distinct and important anniversaries come together. Anniversaries which are so significant for Polish Americans, for Poland, and for the United States.
To dla nas wielki zaszczyt i przyjemność być tutaj z Państwem, móc obchodzić Dzień Kazimierza Puławskiego, bohatera Polski i Stanów Zjednoczonych Ameryki, bohatera walki o wolność, bohatera walki o niepodległość, ale również być tutaj w tym dniu, który wyznacza 280. rocznicę jego urodzin z jednej strony, a z drugiej strony wyznacza także i 90. rocznicę istnienia tego muzeum.
It is a distinct honor and a distinct pleasure to be here today with you on this Pulaski Day. Pulaski, who was hero of Poland and of the United States and of America, who was deeply committed to struggle for freedom and independence. This day today marks the 280th anniversary of the birth of this hero, but also today falls the 90th anniversary of the establishment of this very museum.
Postać generała Kazimierza Pułaskiego jest szczególna, między innymi dlatego, co tutaj przed chwilą zostało powiedziane, dlatego, że rzeczywiście jest bohaterem dwóch państw, dwóch narodów, bohaterem walki o niepodległość, wolność, swoją, można powiedzieć, drogę wojenną de facto rozpoczął od udziału w Konfederacji Barskiej w Polsce, kiedy bronił wolności, suwerenności i niepodległości Rzeczypospolitej przed moskiewskimi drapieżnymi pazurami carskiego imperializmu.
And actually, General Pulaski is a particular figure for all that has already been said here. First of all, he is the hero of two states and two nations, a hero who was committed and involved in the fight for independence and freedom. And his war path, so to speak, started in his fight and his involvement in the Bar Confederation in Poland, where he was fighting for freedom, for independence and sovereignty of Poland against the predatory claws of Moscow.
Jego walka o wolną, suwerenną i niepodległą Polskę niestety zbiegła się z tym momentem w naszej historii, kiedy w istocie carska Rosja stała się faktycznie wielkim imperium i zaczęła górować nad naszą częścią Europy.
And actually his fight for a free, sovereign and independent Poland coincided with a period in history when the Russia of Tsars has become a big empire which started to take its might over our part of Europe.
Jako wielki patriota zobaczył początek niszczenia Polski, początek rozbiorów Polski, które ostatecznie później doprowadziły do jej zniknięcia z mapy Europy i świata, ale na szczęście tego momentu nie widział.
And actually, he started to fight for Poland's independence, and later he also saw the destruction of Poland, the partitions of Poland. Him being a great patriot, he saw Poland being wiped off the map of Europe and the map of the world. But luckily for him, he did not live long enough to see that moment.
Przeżył tragedię początków rozbiorów Polski w 1772 roku, kiedy, tak jak powiedziałem, drapieżne łapsko carskiego imperializmu zaczęło zagarniać naszą ziemię.
What he saw was the beginning of the process of partitions of Poland. The first partition in 1772, when it was the moment, as I already remarked, when the predatory Tsar's empire started to grab our land.
Ale nim Polska została ostatecznie zniszczona w latach 90. XVIII wieku, poległ tutaj w Stanach Zjednoczonych, w bitwie pod Savannah, walcząc o niepodległość Stanów Zjednoczonych, o wolność Stanów Zjednoczonych przeciwko Królestwu Brytyjskiemu.
And then he, saw the destruction. He didn't see the destruction of Poland, but he saw the beginning of it. It went down to Poland being erased from the map of Europe in the 90s of the 18th century. In the 90s of the 18th century, he fell. He fell here in the Battle of Savannah, in his fight and in his protection of the independence and freedom of the United States against the British Empire.
To są te dwa momenty jego życia, które rzeczywiście są tutaj w Ameryce czczone przez polską społeczność żyjącą tutaj w Stanach Zjednoczonych, ale nie tylko. Te dni, 4-6 marca każdego roku, bo nie wiadomo dokładnie jaka była precyzyjna data jego urodzin, najprawdopodobniej albo 4, albo 6 marca, a więc Dzień Kazimierza Pułaskiego, który obchodzimy dzisiaj, jego urodzin w 1745 roku.
And these two moments are the moments which are honored in the United States of America. The first moment is the Kazimierz Pulaski Day, which we observe exactly today, which falls on the 4th or on the 6th of March annually. We do not know exactly the date of birth of General Pulaski. It was either on the 4th or on the 6th of March. In 1745, that is the Pulaski Day.
I jego śmierci 11 października 1779 roku właśnie pod Savannah, która najprawdopodobniej jest uwieczniona w tym obrazie, albowiem zmarł z ran odniesionych w bitwie.
And the other date is the 11th of October, 1779. That is the Pulaski Memorial Day, the day of his death at Savannah, the day which is most probably immortalized in the picture that we can observe in this room.
Dziękuję za to czczenie jego pamięci i poprzez Dzień Kazimierza Puławskiego obchodzony w Stanach Zjednoczonych, jak również poprzez obchody, które odbywają się na przełomie września i października, kiedy to w Nowym Jorku maszeruje wspaniała parada Pułaskiego, w której dumnie idą Polacy przez to wielkie amerykańskie miasto. Dziękuję za to z całego serca, dziękuję za tą pamięć.
And I would like to thank you very much from the bottom of my heart from remembering General Pulaski, both on the Pulaski Day, which we are celebrating today, and also on the 11th of October, at the turn of September and October, when there is a big and splendid parade being held in New York City, in America, with hundreds and thousands of proud Polish Americans marching down the streets of that magnificent city. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Ale muszę w tym kontekście powiedzieć, że ta wielka osoba, wielki wojownik o wolność i niepodległość, jakim był generał Puławski u początków de facto Stanów Zjednoczonych i dzisiejsze obchody jego dnia tutaj w tym Muzeum Polskim w Stanach Zjednoczonych mają dla mnie swój niezwykły wymiar.
But I have to say that there is a particular personal dimension that I attach to this grand personality of General Pulaski, to this grand fighter and warrior for freedom and independence of the United States, the day which is celebrated here in this very museum.
Pokazują bowiem udział Polaków w historii Stanów Zjednoczonych od samego de facto jej początku, od walki o niepodległość.
Because those commemorations demonstrate that the Poles were involved in the history of the United States right from the scratch, right from the fight for independence of the country.
Tymczasem dokumentacja dziejów od tamtego de facto momentu, aż do prawie czasów obecnych, polskiej historii tutaj w Stanach Zjednoczonych, to jest właśnie to muzeum, które obchodzi w tym roku swoje 90-lecie, bo istnieje od 1935 roku.
And if you want to see the documents of the history of Poland from that very moment until almost today, well, then this is this very place, the place demonstrating the history of Poland, of Polish people in the United States. This is the Polish Museum of America, which is celebrating its 90th anniversary today, as it was established in 1935.
Muzeum, które pokazuje z jednej strony wielki udział Polaków w budowaniu Stanów Zjednoczonych aż do dzisiejszego ich potencjału, ale z drugiej strony pokazujące także tragiczną, dramatyczną historię mojej ojczyzny, która w wielu przypadkach była powodem tego, dlaczego do Stanów Zjednoczonych przyjechali.
This museum demonstrates the participation and the contribution of the Polish people in the construction of the United States up until today's potential of the country. But on the other hand, it also demonstrates the tragic and the dramatic history of my homeland, of Poland. The history of the people who many times, because of that tragic history, were coming here to this place.
Historię naznaczoną w okresie istnienia Stanów Zjednoczonych wojnami, które toczyły się w Europie, które przetaczały się przez polską ziemię, niestety przede wszystkim napaściami rosyjskimi na Polskę i rosyjską okupacją naszego kraju.
That history, when the United States of America was constructed, the history of Poland was marked by wars, wars which were sweeping through Europe, which were sweeping also through the Polish lands. And to a big extent, those wars were the Russian invasions and occupations of our country.
Ten obraz pokazujący rosyjskich kozaków carskich pędzących najważniejszą ulicą Warszawy, pędzących krakowskim przedmieściem obok kościoła Świętego Krzyża i katujących Polaków na ulicach w bolesny sposób pokazuje, co przeżywaliśmy i dlaczego Polacy opuszczali swoją ojczyznę.
And this painting that you can see on this very wall is demonstrating Russian Cossacks, which are heading down one of the main streets in Warsaw, down the Krakowskie Przedmieście street, next to the Church of St. Cross. And they're torturing Polish people, mistreating Polish people. And this depicts in this very picturesque and tangible way what Polish people went through and why they had to leave their country.
Dzisiaj Polska jest krajem wolnym, suwerennym, niepodległym po latach zmagań. Jest tym krajem także dzięki wsparciu Stanów Zjednoczonych uzyskanemu dzięki zabiegom Polaków tutaj mieszkających.
Today, Poland is a free, sovereign, and independent country. After all those years of struggle, the fact that it is a free, sovereign, and independent country is also owed to the support of the United States and to the support of the Polish Americans living here.
Dzięki temu, że w Stanach Zjednoczonych pamięta się, że wielcy generałowie walczący o ich niepodległość i wolność, Pulaski i Kościuszko, byli Polakami.
Thanks to the fact that in the United States it is remembered that big generals fighting for the independence and freedom of the country were Poles.
Dzięki temu, że jest to muzeum, do którego przychodzą także i Amerykanie, także i ludzie sprawujący władzę w Stanach Zjednoczonych i widzą wkład Polaków w trudną historię i to, jak wiele Polacy uczynili dla budowania także i potencjału Stanów Zjednoczonych.
This is also marked by the fact that those grand generals who were fighting for the independence of the United States, Pulaski, Kościuszko, they are remembered here in this museum in the United States. Also, this museum is visited by the American people, by the representatives of the authorities of the government. And by visiting this place, they're able to see the big contribution that the Polish people had brought into building this country. Also, amid its difficult history, they can also see how much potential was brought by the Polish community to the development of the potential of this very country.
Składam za to głębokie wyrazy podziękowania i szacunku, po pierwsze twórcom muzeum, po drugie pokoleniom Polaków, którzy o to muzeum dbali, którzy je tworzą przez te 90 lat. To co najmniej 3 pokolenia muzealników, którzy tutaj są, przyjmując różnego rodzaju dary i zbierając pamiątki o Polsce i Polakach po to właśnie, by ta historia tutaj żyła.
I would like to express my thanks and deep gratitude and respect both to the creators of this Polish Museum of America and also to the generations of Poles who through their work and commitment have contributed to the establishment of this grand place, which is celebrating its 90th anniversary today. We can speak about at least 3 generations of curators, of people working in this museum who have been gathering gifts and memorabilia of the Polish culture and history, which have contributed to keeping the history of Poland alive.
Dziękuję za to, tak jak dziękuję wszystkim moim rodakom i dziękowałem wczoraj w trakcie mojego wystąpienia, mówiąc o wpływie, jaki mają dzisiaj w widoczny sposób na amerykańską politykę, także idąc i oddając głosy w wyborach, a więc w tej polityce uczestnicząc na zasadach demokratycznych.
And this owes my big words of thank you and gratitude. I express that gratitude to all my compatriots also during the speech that I gave yesterday, where I was talking about the huge impact and huge influence that Polish people have, Polish diaspora has, the ones living here in the United States, also on the politics, on the policy of the United States, also through going and voting in the US elections.
Dziękuję wam z całego serca, bo dzięki temu budowaniu poczucia wkładu Polaków w istnienie Stanów Zjednoczonych i w potencjał Stanów Zjednoczonych polska wspólnota się liczy i dzięki temu może wspierać swoją ojczyznę.
And thank you for the bottom of my heart for your involvement, for your contribution to the construction of the United States, to the construction of its existence as such, and also to its potential. My gratitude goes out to all of you being committed to doing so, because thanks to this, Poland, Polish people in America do count, and by this weight they have, they can also help their homeland.
Dziękuję za to, dziękuję za kultywowanie tej pamięci, dziękuję za przedstawianie pięknego świadectwa o Polsce i polskości tutaj w Stanach Zjednoczonych.
Thank you for all of that. Also, thank you for perpetrating, for keeping alive all our history. Thank you for paying such a wonderful testimony to the Polish people, also here in the United States of America.
Dziękuję także władzom stanowym i władzom miasta za dbanie o Polaków i polską wspólnotę.
I would also like to thank the authorities of the state and the authorities of the city for taking such a wonderful care of the Polish community.
Życzę wszystkim Państwu powodzenia. Niech to muzeum i niech wszystkie polskie organizacje rozwijają się tutaj w Stanach Zjednoczonych jak najlepiej, niech kwitną.
And I wish you good luck in all your endeavors. May this Polish Museum of America and other Polish organizations and institutions develop in the United States. May they flourish.
Niezmiennie zapraszam do Polski, ale przede wszystkim Boże błogosław Rzeczpospolitą Polską, Boże błogosław Amerykę.
And I would like to offer you my standing invitation to come to Poland. But first and foremost, God bless the Republic of Poland and God bless America.
Dziękuję.
Thank you.
Thank you, President Duda. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for a little entertainment from our young Polish Americans, I'd like to introduce the Tatra Mountain Cultural Foundation Ensemble. They'll present dances from the region of Podhale. the Tatra Mountain Cultural Foundation Ensemble. Ladies and gentlemen, before we bring our next group to perform, I'd like to call upon our senator from the state of Illinois, Senator Richard Durbin.
Mr. President, First Lady, witam to Chicago. Dzień dobry. It's an honor to be with you. I'm sorry that I had to jump into the program, but I have to go to O'Hare to fly to Washington. And so you understand that, I'm certain. I would just say to you that it was not that long ago when the Iron Curtain came down and there was a question about the security of Poland and the Warsaw Pact nations, as well as the Soviet republics once the Soviet Union went away. It was obvious there was one place to turn for freedom-loving nations, democracies, and that was NATO. NATO had been a successful alliance now for over 80 years, avoiding World War III and standing through Article 5 by one another when they were needed. For the United States' decision on NATO, I thought it was a Pulaski moment, a moment when the security of Poland and the security of the United States was at stake, and we decided to stand together. That NATO alliance has been strong, has helped Poland for all these years, and now there is a question as to whether it even exists. Much has happened in Washington since I last left last week. The future of NATO is uncertain at this point with this new administration. But this much I can tell you. Those Pulaski moments are still in our heart. And the friendship and relationship between the United States and Poland is stronger than ever. We still seek democracy together, and we stand together for common defense. I would like to pay tribute to Poland for one other thing. What Polish people have done has been nothing short of extraordinary for the last 3 years during the Ukrainian war. Millions, yes, they deserve it. Millions of Ukrainians were forced out of their homeland into other countries. Many of them, maybe most of them, came to Poland. But you don't hear about Ukrainian refugee camps in Poland, do you? You know why, and I do too. The Polish people, the Polish families opened their homes for these Ukrainians to be given safe places to be. That to me speaks volumes about the caring and loving nature of the Polish people toward their neighbors. This much I can promise you. I don't know what the official policy of this administration will be moving forward, but this son of Illinois, whose mother was born in Lithuania, is going to stand by Poland and the Baltic republics, regardless of who the president is or what he may say. We still believe in those Pulaski moments, and they will bring us together. Dzień dobry. Thank you.
The Wesoły Lud Polish Folk Dance Company was founded in 1977 by Michelin Jamiński. It has toured the world representing the Polish Roman Catholic Union of America in various dance festivals. Today, under the direction of Richard Jamiński, they will be performing a Krakowiak suite.
Słychać jak tam grają mariackie hejnały. Słychać jak tam grają mariackie hejnały.
the solo dancers of the Polish Roman Catholic of America. Both ensembles are just a small representation of the future of Polonia. Let's give them a round of applause one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, just some housekeeping matters right now. We will be taking several photographs prior, with the upcoming points. So please listen to the instructions and please remain seated while the ceremonies take place. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to have the color guard, along with our representatives of the two oldest Polish organizations in the United States, present the wreath to Pulaski. Will the dance crews please come to the front? Ladies and gentlemen, we will be taking a group picture, so please remain in your places. You may sit down at this point. Thank you to the dance groups for participating. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be taking this group picture, so please be seated, do not move. Will our guests please take your places again, please? Ladies and gentlemen, the President and First Lady must leave the Polish Museum of America to catch a flight to their next event. Please remain seated while the President exits the Great Hall. Nie mówiły no. Powiedziałem do mnie no. Ja powiedziałem, no, nie robimy.
around them. We're going to do the same thing. Always follow rules.
You ask everybody to sit down. Tell everybody to sit down right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Można usiąść. Prosimy. Dziękujemy za to. Dziękuję serdecznie. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to continue with the program. I would like to introduce the President and CEO of the Polish Slavic Federal Credit Union, Bogdan Chmielewski.
Good morning, everyone, and all of the special welcome to all dignitaries present to help celebrate this special day for the Polish American across the country. Today we celebrate the birthday of Kazimierz Pulaski. General Pulaski is the Polish Revolutionary War hero who, after fighting for Poland's freedom in the anti-Russian insurrection in 1768, came to America, where he fought for this country in the American Revolutionary War and lost his life in 1779 at the Second Battle of Savannah, fighting for Americans' freedom. His bravery fighting for this country freedom earned him the distinction of being called the father of American cavalry. We are also honored today by the presence of Andrzej Duda, President of Poland, for the last 10 years. During his time in the office, he has fought diplomatically to maintain the strength of Poland by building a strong, mutually beneficial with the United States of America. Centuries apart, in different ways, both the General Pulaski and President Duda have fostered the bond that now exists between Poland and the United States. We are gathered together today in the Polish Museum of America, a building whose contents reflect the history of Poland as well as the contribution Polish Americans have made to this country. Chicago for decades has been known as the city with the greatest number of Polish people outside of Warsaw, Poland. Milwaukee Avenue, where the museum sits, was the corridor developed by Poles who came here for freedom and the opportunity to raise their families in this great country. With them, they brought their work ethic, which has led to decades of Polish Americans working and making contributions in every field, from government to business to law and medicine. Polish Americans are now in communities across Illinois. This is why 15 years ago, the Polish and Slavic Federal Credit Union, which I have an honor to represent, built their first branch in this state, and now will soon open its eighth. We believe and have faith in the strength and dedication of Chicago, the great state of Illinois, and the United States of America. Thank you for being here today, joining in our celebration of the partnership of America and Poland, and honoring our heroes of yesterday and today. Two great countries that forever will be bound together. God bless America. God bless Poland.
It is truly my honor and distinction, really, because this next lady is one of our great ladies who teaches us how to be Polish and proud here in America. The Honorable Aurelia Puchiński, Illinois 1st District Appellate Court Justice.
Good morning. We celebrate Kazimierz Pulaski as twice a hero. First, he sacrificed everything fighting the evil Tsar of Russia to protect his beloved Poland. Then, he came here to help American colonists fight the tyranny of King George. He died for our freedom and liberty. It was worth his life. It was everything. Liberty, the core of our Polish identity. We've had other Polish heroes in America. The Polonians who came with Captain John Smith, not knowing what in the world they faced, but knowing it was better than the life they left behind. Those brave glassmakers led the first labor strike in this continent for the right to vote and own land. Liberty. They fought for it and they won. Tadeusz Kościuszko joined our revolution for the principles of freedom from tyranny and for the goal of independence. Both values etched into the heart of every Pole. So fiercely did he believe in liberty that he provided in his will for the freedom of slaves. And there are more modern heroes too. Tadeusz Senzimar, the inventor of modern steel. Henry Magnuski, whose inventions led to the cell phones that all of us have. Paul Barron, an internet pioneer. Steve Wozniak, the co-founder of Apple. And my favorite, Roman Puchiński, who fought tooth and nail to get those black boxes in every commercial airline. Poles started coming to Chicago in 1830. By 1920, there were 400,000 in Chicago, and today there are 900,000 people of Polish heritage in Cook County. The first and largest immigration wave was between 1850 and 1920. Then huge numbers of immigrants were displaced by World War II, and many left in the 1980s after martial law was declared in Poland, and the struggle to bring democracy to Poland took new strength from solidarity. John Napieralski is believed to be the first Pole to come to Chicago around 1830. He dreamed of a vibrant Polonia in our city. He might have predicted the hardworking men and women of Polonia, building neighborhoods anchored by beautiful churches, St. Stanislas Kostka, Holy Trinity, St. Adalbert, St. Mary of the Angels, St. John Cantius, and many, many more. We have benefited from major Polish language newspapers, a vibrant Polish theater, radio, and now TV community, and from our truly remarkable Polish organizations, the Polish Museum, the PRCU, the PNA, the PAC, the Highlanders, the Alliance of Polish Clubs, the Legion of Young Polish Women, hundreds of Polish schools, and so many more. Generations of Poles have come to Chicago. Very, very few of us, we're honored to have with us today some who remember the horrors of the Nazi invasion of Poland, the death and destruction of Nazi occupation, the cruelty of war, the horror of Russian genocide at Katyn, the death of freedom under the new Russian czars of communism. But if we're not actually old enough to remember it, we certainly have heard stories or read history. Whether your family came here in 1830 or later, we are here because someone in our family decided to leave behind a life of uncertainty and oppression for a life of opportunity and freedom, to seek free speech, economic opportunity, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, freedom of press, and most of all, freedom of ideas. These things are unreachable in nations under Russian influence. Would we trade our freedoms here now for the slow death of a new communism? Now, Poland is a democracy and is free, and many are planning to go back because it's a beautiful country. How much do we want to keep it free? What about the other nations in the former Soviet bloc? What would Pulaski do? Those who left the life behind are heroes too. They forged for us the opportunities we enjoy here today. They gave us freedom, they gave us liberty, they gave us everything. We honor those who fought to get here. We recognize that some of us did it ourselves. Some of us rest on the shoulders of those who made the choice to leave that empty life behind. But no matter what the history of your family, it requires that we always remember what we left behind and why. Thank you.
The next thing on our agenda is a video from the Pulaski collection. This following video will show some background on historical significance of Kazimierz Pulaski to the United States, as long as many artifacts that the Polish Museum of America has in its possession.
The death of Pulaski on the battlefield of Savannah has been officially celebrated in the United States since the 150th anniversary of that battle. Prior to that, since at least the early 1910s, Ignatius Werwinski of South Bend, Indiana, began a campaign to raise awareness of Pulaski and the need for him to be officially commemorated by single-handedly writing hundreds, if not thousands of letters to politicians and leaders across the nation and giving speeches to all audiences that would listen. His efforts paid off as later, as chair of the Federal Pulaski Sesquicentennial Commission, he saw that in 1929, President Hoover signed a bill making October 11th General Pulaski Memorial Day as a federal day of recognition. To this day, the October date continues to be proclaimed by the President annually and observed with large parades in New York, Philadelphia, and other eastern urban centers with large Polish-American populations. On September 15th, 1977, Governor Daniel Walker signed Kazimierz Pulaski Day into law, but not as a state holiday, at the PMA. On March 3rd, 1986, in a formal declaration at the State of Illinois building, Governor James Thompson designated the first Monday in March as a state holiday in honor of this Revolutionary War hero. This was supported by the presence of Chicago Mayor Harold Washington. Since the day is near the traditional Illinois primaries, politicians of both parties, incumbents as well as contenders, have come to the Polish Museum of America since 1987. The junior senator from Illinois was present at the 2006 celebration, where he was warmly received. Maybe this was a testing of the waters, as the following year he announced his intent to run for president. In 2009, President Obama signed the bill making Brigadier General Kazimierz Pulaski the 8th honorary United States citizen. Pulaski's nomination was championed by Illinois Senior Senator Richard Durbin. Founded in 1935, the Polish Museum of America has an interesting and varied collection of material relating to Pulaski. Only 6 years after the sesquicentennial of Pulaski's death, the museum's first curator, Mieczysław Hyman, began gathering materials to enrich the collections. Within the PMA archives are 2 letters written by Pulaski. The earliest, written in Polish in 1772, is regarding his role in the Bar Confederation. The other is a report to General Benjamin Lincoln on the enemy at Savannah, written on September 14, 1779, less than 1 month before the assault in which he was mortally wounded. The PMA houses a large collection of pins, medals, medallions, and other memorabilia associated with Pulaski, either featuring his likeness or his name. In the late 1800s, early Polish immigrants in the United States established mutual aid societies, and Pulaski was often chosen as the patron of these groups. Gwardia Pułaskiego, a Polish National Alliance organization from 1884. A Polish national group of K. Pulaski from LaSalle, Illinois, from 1888. And the Self-Aid Group, organized on June 21, 1898, in Minersville, Pennsylvania. This 1918 poster by an anonymous Chicago artist adds President Woodrow Wilson and a young Paderewski to the trinity of Kościuszko, Washington, and Pulaski. We also have Columbia, and on the other side, Polish troops attacking the Germans besides an American tank. Another poster by an anonymous artist in 1919 shows a newly free Poland protected by Kościuszko and Pulaski. Above them are Wawel Castle, Warsaw, and Kraków. Between the 2 flags is Józef Piłsudski. This last poster was printed for the U.S. Department for Food during the war, while the name of Pulaski is spelled in a different variation. The text reminds Polish-American families that Kościuszko and Pulaski fought for freedom in America. Will you help America fight for freedom in Poland? Eat less grain, meat, fats, and sugar so that we can help our brothers fighting in the Allied armies. Good advice even 100 years later.
In the spirit of Pulaski, we'd like to introduce a dear friend of ours who we only got to know in the last 3 years under not so nice circumstances. This year we don't celebrate, we have the 3rd anniversary of the invasion of the Ukraine. And I'd like to introduce the Consul General of the Ukraine, Consul General Sergei Koledov.
Thank you, Richard. Ladies and gentlemen, dear Polish and American friends, it's a great honor and privilege to be here today and to address you on behalf of the Consulate General of Ukraine, Chicago. Today, we have gathered to honor the memory of the hero of Poland and the United States of America, Brigadier General Kazimierz Pulaski. He was born and lived a time when the sprouts of modern democracy were beginning to emerge, when the people of Europe and the Americas rebelled against the tyranny to build a new world. Kazimierz Pulaski was one of such heroes. It should be noted that part of his life was associated with Ukraine, where he became involved with the Bar Confederation to defend the internal and external independence of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth against Russian influence. The practical military experience that Kazimierz Pulaski gained in Europe, in particular in the battle with the Russian occupiers, was useful to the young American nation. It was here that he became a legend and one of the founders of the American Army, well known as the father of American cavalry. Kazimierz Pulaski was a very extraordinary person, so for more than 200 years we, his patriots and Americans, have gratefully remembered his life and exploits. Memories of the life of General Kazimierz Pulaski are extremely relevant today because, as 200 years ago, the struggle against the Russian invasion is taking place again. Kazimierz Pulaski's professionalism, his love for the motherland, his desire to freedom, and his sacrifice are a great example for all of us. It's such an honor to speak to you today and thank Ukrainians, close friends, the Republic of Poland and the United States, and the Polish and American people for their unwavering support of the people of Ukraine in the most difficult and tragic moment of our modern history. On February 24, 2025, as we remember the sad year marked of Russia's brutal aggression, numerous events were organized in Chicago by Ukrainian, many friends and allies who wish to pay the tribute to untold number of human tragedies, eliminates the loss of our innocent children, women and men. Today is already 1,104th day of Russia's full-fledged war. The last year was indeed been truly devastating for Ukraine, and since Putin has no intention to stop, our country will continue enduring human losses until Putin is stopped. Ukraine stands, and we are grateful to all our partners for help to survive as an independent state and help us to go forward. Let me take the opportunity to thank the Republic of Poland and all allies for your support of Ukraine, not only in the last 3 years, but also in the last 11 years, and throughout all 34 years of our independence. We thank Poland for an unwavering support of Ukraine on its part of the European Union and NATO. Since the beginning of the war, Poland's military assistance to Ukraine included much-needed tanks, howitzers, self-propelled multi-rocket launchers, spare parts to MiG planes, and many other military equipment. As you know, in total, Poland has already provided 45 defense assistance packages, and 46 one is being prepared. We will never forget Poland's readiness to help, which proved critical in the first, most difficult days and months of our war. Poland has accommodated far more refugees from neighbors Ukraine than any other nation. It's welcomed almost 2 million refugees and recorded nearly 10 million persons across the Ukrainian and Polish border. Thanks to Polish aid with electricity generations, Ukrainians could sustain electricity blackouts caused by Russia's incessant shelling and drone attacks. The remarkable instances of assistance provided by ordinary Poles to their brothers and sisters in Ukraine. Poland sent thousands of cargo lorries of humanitarian aid to Ukraine. Thank you, dear friends. Ukraine, Europe, and the world need a comprehensive, just, and lasting peace. Ukraine wants to end this war more than any other country. But it must be a real peace, not appeasement of the aggressor. Ukraine is open to diplomacy, but only to the one of the leads to the comprehensive, just, and lasting peace in the line with the UN Charter. Our task is to achieve a just and lasting peace and to end the war this year. But the only realistic way to restore a comprehensive, just and lasting peace for Ukraine have been and remains the peace formula provided by the President Zelensky, which is based on respect for UN Charter and the imperative to fully restore Ukrainians' territorial integrity within international recognized border. Of course, we welcome any proposals aimed to restoration of just peace for Ukraine. But we proceed from the position that such proposal must be based on two main elements. Nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine. They should be based on the UN Charter and include respect for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine within an international recognized border. All negotiations that took place behind Ukrainians' back did not lead to the desired result. Ukraine will never accept deals made behind of our back without our involvement. Dziękuję bardzo. God bless Poland, God bless America і слава Україні. Дякую.
Thank you, Consul. Now I'd like to introduce Eva Kopczfer, and who will sing us two pieces by Szymanowski and Karłowicz. She's accompanied by Bartłomiej Książowska.
Leciały z urazie
The next thing on our agenda is a video remarks from the Honorable Nikki Budzinski, who could not be with us today. She is the only Polish congressperson from the state of Illinois at this time. Ms. Budzinski represents the 13th District in Illinois, which stretches from central Illinois near Champaign-Urbana down to the town of Bellevue, which is a suburb of St. Louis. Ms. Budzinski is also a member of the House Committee on Agriculture and the House Committee on Veterans Affairs. Ms. Budzinski.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nikki Budzinski, and I'm honored to represent the 13th District of Illinois in Congress. I'd like to thank the Polish Museum of America and the Polish Roman Catholic Union of America for inviting me to participate in this ceremony. I wish I could be with you all in person. I'd also like to acknowledge President Andrzej Duda. It's an honor to have you here. Poland is one of the United States' strongest allies in Europe. Our steadfast partnership strengthens the NATO alliance and underpins important efforts on counterterrorism, non-proliferation, human rights, and economic growth, advancing security and prosperity in Europe and around the world. The foundation of our relationship is our shared commitment to freedom, a commitment that dates all the way back to the American Revolution, when Polish heroes like Kazimierz Pulaski aided our fight for independence. Pulaski fought for Polish liberty as a young man, and after meeting Benjamin Franklin in Paris, he traveled to the United States to aid the Continental Army. He was a brilliant military tactician, and his battlefield knowledge was essential to the success of the revolutionary forces. In 1778, Pulaski put in charge of the newly formed cavalry, cementing his legacy as the father of the American cavalry. During the 1779 Battle of Savannah, General Pulaski was mortally wounded, and he died a war hero at the age of 34. He will never be forgotten, his sacrifices and his contributions to American independence. The friendship between our two nations lives on in the vibrant Polish-American community, especially here in Illinois. Nearly 10 million Americans have Polish ancestry, including my own family. It's great to see the community coming together to celebrate Kazimierz Pulaski Day and have institutions like the Polish Museum of America and the Polish Roman Catholic Union of America that preserve our heritage and our history for future generations. Thank you.
For many years, PNC Financial Services Group has been a sponsor of the Pulaski Day celebration at the Polish Museum of America. It is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Beata Mikita, Regional Manager for Chicago.
Welcome, Witam. On behalf of PNC Bank and thousands of our employees across the Chicagoland region, it is an honor to stand here before you today celebrating the tapestry of cultures that enrich our community. Today we come together not just to showcase our heritage, but to recognize the common threads that bind us. Thank you to the many distinguished guests who have taken out to join us in this spectacular room that vibrates with energy every year and be part of this amazing community, celebrating our rich culture that makes us who we are. Perhaps it's the oversized painting behind me, reminding us of the point in time in history, marking leadership, sacrifice, and freedom. Perhaps it's seeing all of us gathered here today to honor a Chicago tradition. I know it means a lot to our Polish community that we can come together and pay tribute to General Pulaski and the lasting legacy left behind in this country and his homeland. When we as a community come together, we can overcome challenges and celebrate victories. It also means a lot to me to be here and represent hundreds of my PNC colleagues who are of Polish descent, myself included. Both of my parents were immigrants from Poland that came to Chicago, working hard to realize their dream and become citizens of this great country. Like many of my fellow Polish Americans, I grew up speaking the Polish language, attended Polish school every Saturday, completing high school proudly. I'm sure back then as kids, we were not as eager to do so. Because of this, I was able to preserve my heritage and be exposed to a second language, which I now effectively use in what I do every day at work. Being able to communicate in this language, helping our clients achieve financial success, is what I'm most proud of. Here in Chicago, hundreds of Polish-speaking employees offer bilingual services at nearly 40 of our PNC branches throughout Chicagoland. In fact, for over 100 years, we have helped families, businesses, and organizations achieve their financial goals, and when needed, help support the mission of important organizations like this museum. I would also like to take this time to thank the many dedicated volunteers at the Polish Museum of America who work tirelessly to showcase our heritage and culture, not just today, but all year round. We're fortunate to have one of the country's oldest ethnic museums right here in Chicago, housing one of the largest collections of Polish archives outside of Poland. So I thank you so much for letting me and allowing us to be present as PNC Bank. Dziękujemy od nas wszystkich z PNC za udział w uroczystościach generała Pulaskiego.
Our next speaker is someone who is not a stranger to anybody in this room, anybody in the city, anybody in the county. Her voice is vocal. She's very, very well known, and she's got that Corella DeVell look on her now. Ladies and gentlemen, Maria Pappas, our Cook County Treasurer.
Yes! Hello! Hello, Chicago. So, you know, this is like amazing. I have been coming here since 1989 on Pulaski Day. How about that? Where's Margaret? I went up to Margaret. I said, Margaret, I'm running out of things to talk to about. And she said, no, I'm going to give you your speech for today. I said, tell me what it is. She said, you know what? Nobody ever talks about everything that was named after General Pulaski. Nobody ever talks about it. So I have 4 Polish people working for me that I assigned this job to. I have 5 type-spaced pages, single-spaced typings of things in Chicago and the United States that were named after Pulaski, who died at 34, and not even any president ever of the United States had this many places, parks, roads, and monuments named after them. You're going to have to sit and listen to me tell you some of them. In Chicago, Pulaski Animal Hospital. Dr. Spinzer runs it. That's where I take my dog. The exhibit here at the museum, Pulaski Elston Business, Pulaski Furniture, Pulaski Food and Deli, Pulaski Fresh Market, Pulaski Memorial, Pulaski Nails, Pulaski Orange Station, Pulaski Park, Pulaski Pink Line, Pulaski Promenade, Pulaski Road, running north and south. Did you know that, Spula? Oh, the Pulaski statue in Grant Park, and even one at the Highlanders, there's a Pulaski statue. There is a Pulaski Savings Bank and a tire shop. Now get this, these are places in the United States. What's in a name? A name is a legacy. A name is a legacy. And for Polish people, Pulaski's the legacy. The legacy, Rich, it's like passing down your DNA. Get this, places in the United States named after Pulaski. Pulaski Heights in Arkansas, Pulaski Shoal in Florida Keys, in Georgia, a Pulaski town, a square, and even a Pulaski prison. Huh? A Pulaski tunnel in Idaho, in Indiana, an unincorporated community. In Illinois, a village also Mount Pulaski in Illinois, Pulaski, Iowa, Lake Pulaski in Minnesota, Pulaski, Mississippi, Missouri, New York, Ohio, Tennessee, Virginia, Wisconsin, and Pulaski County in Wisconsin. There is even a song named after Pulaski. There is an opera named after Pulaski. And get this, like Cook County, there's 7 counties in the United States named after Pulaski. There are parks, there are 6 cities that I can think of around the country named after Pulaski. And finally, parks and monuments. Pulaski Park in Chicago, Pulaski Park in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, Maryland, New Jersey, how about that? And some roads and some bridges, yes, and highways. In Baltimore, New York, Wisconsin, New York, West Virginia, my home state, has even named Pulaski Street in Huntington, West Virginia. I say, take your hat off to Pulaski. Not even a president of the United States or anyone that I know has had so many places, monuments, and parks named after him. I am happy to be here. I love the Polish American community. This is my $1,000 check that I give every year. And Father, God willing, 1989 to the year 2500, Pappas is going to be here. I love you.
Thank you, Maria. It is, she's been with us since 1989, and it doesn't fail that she supports us not only by coming here and giving remarks, but she makes a donation not once a year, but several times a year. And we are very grateful to this Greek American who supports a Polish American institution. Thank you, Maria. In speaking of supporters, today's event was made possible with sponsorships by the Polish and Slavic Federal Credit Union. We are so grateful to the board and to the officers for supporting this event for the last 7 years. Also grateful to PNC. Beata, thank you very much. Please give Mr. Swanson our regards. The president of the Midwest Division is Scott Swanson, who is a Polish American that you wouldn't know by his name, but please give our regards to Mr. Swanson. Also, we'd like to thank the Copernicus Foundation. Ties with the Copernicus Foundation go back many, many years. Thank you to Hubert Choromsky and Mario Mikoda, who run the foundation. Thank you for their support. We'd also like to thank Małgorzata Pałka and Daniel Sobol, life members who've donated to today's event. And we'd like to thank Kasia's for the superb food that is served year after year in memory of Kasia Bober, who was a big supporter and a life member of the Polish Museum of America. As everything, there is an end, and as we come toward the end, I'd like to call upon Father Zdzisław Torba to give the benediction. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise.
Thank you so much. That's great. And the year 1998 was the year when I came to United States. I was sent from Poland. That's Maria. And I want to continue, the unique about Kazimierz Pulaski, because he was the very religious person. Before he went to defend in America, he fought in Poland in the front of Our Lady of Częstochowa, Queen of Poland, and we sometimes forgot about it, and he prayed in the front of Our Lady of Częstochowa before he went to fight. And let us put ourselves before God and ask for his blessing for coming days. Almighty God, as we gather today to honor the legacy of General Pulaski, we give you thanks, Almighty God, for all the distinguished guests with President of Poland, Andrzej Duda, and his wife, Agata Korzenhauer-Duda, all guests who represent Poland, Polonia, our state, our city. As we have heard from this distinguished guest, a lot of words about General Kazimierz Pulaski, about his courage, his dedication to freedom, and his sacrifice in the fight for liberty, and his bravery under battlefields of the American Revolution, where he risked his life to defend the cause of justice against tyranny. We ask you, God, as we finish today's celebration, to guide us to emulate his spirit of selflessness, his unwavering commitment to what is right, and his willingness to stand up for the oppressed. May his example and great faith inspire us to actively work towards a more just and equitable world, always upholding the values of freedom and democracy that he fought so violently to protect. Bless our communities, Almighty God, both nations, Poland and America, Polonia, and all those who continue to carry the torch of his faith, dedication, patriotism, ignited by General Kazimierz Pulaski. May his memory live on in our hearts and in our actions as we strive to be worthy of the legacy he left behind. All our new activities and tasks for Polonia and among Polonia points on God and values which remind us today's celebration that the whole human life go farther than worldly borders and time. As one of the famous Polish poets, Jan Kochanowski, wrote, "Especially the way to heaven is open for those who serve country as patriot." And may Almighty God bless all the nations, and especially Poland and America, in the name of the Father, the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you.
Please remain standing for the singing of God Bless America.
While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair, as we raise our voices to a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you, everybody. This concludes our program. Thank you for all who came here today. Thank you for all those who viewed us streaming, and we will see you in 2026. Thank you.